The wedding ended with a gunshot. I know what you're thinking. You want to know who pulled the trigger. You want to know who fell. You want to know if there was blood on that white marble floor, if the screams were louder than the blast, if anyone tried to stop it. But before I take you there, before I let you see what I saw, you need to understand how we got there. You need to feel what I felt. Because this isn't just a story about a wedding that went wrong. This is a story about trust, about friendship, about love, and about how all three of those things can be ripped away from you in ways you never saw coming.
Welcome to True Crime Tapes, where we bring you the most gripping, mysterious, and heart-stopping stories from the world of true crime. If you're fascinated by the unknown and want to uncover the secrets that the world tries to hide, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chilling story. And for those of you already part of our community, welcome back. We're glad to have you with us. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts and theories, because we love hearing from you. True Crime Tapes. The truth is always stranger than fiction.
So let me take you back. Let me take you back to 3 days before everything fell apart. 3 days before I realized that the people I loved most in this world were capable of things I couldn't even imagine in my worst nightmares. It was a Thursday morning when I woke up with my heart pounding with excitement. 3 days. Just 3 days until I married the woman I'd loved for 4 years. 3 days until Sarah became my wife. I remember lying there in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to stop smiling. My phone was buzzing with messages from family members, from the wedding planner, from my groomsmen. Everyone was excited. Everyone was ready, except one person. Tyrone hadn't responded to any of my messages in 2 days. Now I need you to understand something about Tyrone. This wasn't just my best man. This was my brother. Not by blood, but by everything that mattered. We'd known each other since we were 7 years old. We'd grown up on the same street, gone to the same schools, shared every major moment of our lives. When my father died, Tyrone was the one who sat with me in the dark and didn't try to fill the silence with empty words. When he lost his scholarship and thought his life was over, I was the one who helped him find another path. We were inseparable. We were family. So when he didn't respond to my messages, I noticed, but I didn't panic. Not yet. I sent him another text that Thursday morning. Yo, man, rehearsal dinner tomorrow night. Need you there early. Hit me back. Nothing. I tried calling. It went straight to voicemail. His voice on the recording sounded so normal, so cheerful. You've reached Ty. Leave it at the beep. Beep. Tyrone, it's me again. Starting to think you're avoiding me, bro. Call me back. Getting worried here. Still nothing. Sarah walked into the bedroom with coffee, her smile so bright it could have lit up the whole room. God, she was beautiful. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun. She was wearing one of my old t-shirts, and she looked at me like I was the only person in the world who mattered. What's wrong? She asked, handing me the mug. You look stressed. It's Tyrone, I said, taking the coffee. He's not answering any of my calls or texts. Haven't heard from him since Tuesday. She sat down on the edge of the bed, and I saw something flicker across her face. Something quick. Something almost like fear, but it was gone before I could really register it. Maybe his phone died, she said softly. You know how he is. Probably got caught up with work or something. For 2 days straight? I shook my head. Nah, something's off. This isn't like him, especially not right before the wedding. Sarah's hand was resting on my leg, and I felt her fingers tighten slightly. I'm sure he's fine, she said, but her voice sounded strained, forced. Don't worry about it. He'll show up. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. So I nodded, I drank my coffee, and I tried to push the worry out of my mind. But it stayed there, like a shadow, like something dark creeping at the edges of my thoughts. By Thursday afternoon, the worry had turned into something sharper. Something that felt like panic starting to claw its way up my throat. I'd called Tyrone 6 more times. I'd sent 15 messages. I'd even tried reaching out to some of our mutual friends, but nobody had heard from him either. That's weird, Marcus said when I called him. Marcus was another groomsman, someone we'd both known since high school. Last time I saw Ty was Saturday. We grabbed drinks. He seemed fine. Maybe a little quiet, but fine. Quiet how? I pressed. I don't know, man, just in his head, I guess. But he didn't say anything was wrong. Did you two have a fight or something? No, nothing. Everything was good last time we talked. Then I'm sure it's nothing. He's probably just busy. You know how he gets when he's stressed. But that's the thing. I did know how Tyrone got when he was stressed, and disappearing without a word wasn't it. When Tyrone was stressed, he talked. He vented. He showed up at my place at midnight with a bottle of whiskey, and we'd sit on the porch and work through whatever was eating at him. That's how we'd always been. We didn't hide from each other. We didn't go silent, unless something was really, really wrong. I decided I couldn't just sit around waiting anymore. I got in my car and drove to Tyrone's apartment. It was a 20-minute drive across town, and every minute felt like an hour. My hands were gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles had gone white. I kept trying to tell myself I was overreacting, that I'd get there, and he'd open the door looking confused, wondering why I was so worked up. We'd laugh about it. He'd apologize for being MIA. Everything would be fine. But when I pulled up to his building and saw his car in the parking lot, that hope started to crumble. His car was there, which meant he was home, which meant he'd been ignoring me on purpose. I took the stairs two at a time up to the third floor. His apartment was at the end of the hall, number 3C. I pounded on the door. Tyrone, Ty, open up. I know you're in there, man. Nothing. I knocked harder. Come on, bro. What's going on? Talk to me. The door across the hall opened, and an elderly woman peeked out, looking annoyed. He's not home, she snapped. Been quiet over there for days. Now stop making all that noise. His car's downstairs, I said. She shrugged. Maybe he got a ride somewhere. I don't know. But he's not in there. I'd have heard him. The door slammed shut. I stood there in that hallway for a long time, just staring at Tyrone's door. The silence coming from the other side felt wrong. Heavy, like something was trapped in there, holding its breath. I tried calling again. From right outside his door, I could hear his phone ringing inside the apartment. It rang and rang and rang until it went to voicemail. He was in there. He had to be. And he was choosing not to answer. Why? I drove back home feeling like my chest was filled with broken glass. Every breath hurt. Sarah was in the kitchen when I walked in, talking on the phone with the florist about some last-minute changes to the centerpieces. She looked up when she saw my face and quickly ended the call. Did you find him? She asked. His car's there. His phone's there. But he won't answer the door. Won't answer his phone. Sarah, something's really wrong. I can feel it. She crossed the kitchen and wrapped her arms around me, pressing her face against my chest. Maybe he's sick, she whispered. Maybe he doesn't want you to see him like that. You know how proud he is. I held her tight, breathing in the familiar scent of her shampoo. Vanilla and something sweet. I'm going to call his mom, I said. She'll know what's going on. Sarah's body went rigid in my arms, just for a second, just long enough for me to notice. Then she pulled back, and when I looked at her face, she was pale, like all the blood had drained out of her. Maybe you should give him space, she said quietly. If he needed you, he'd reach out. That's exactly why I'm worried, because he's not reaching out. Just wait until tomorrow, okay? Let's get through the rehearsal dinner. If he doesn't show up, then we'll figure it out. But tonight, let's just focus on us, on our family. Please? Her hands were shaking. I could see them trembling as she reached up to touch my face, and her palms were cold. Ice cold despite the warm kitchen. Sarah, are you okay? I asked. You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, she said too quickly. Just wedding stress. There's so much to think about and... Have you talked to Tyrone recently? Her eyes went wide. What? No. Why would I? I'm just asking. I thought maybe he said something to you about where he'd be or what he's doing. No, I haven't talked to him. Not since last week, at the final fitting. She was lying. I could tell she was lying because I'd known this woman for 4 years, and I'd seen every expression her face could make. And right now, she was lying straight to my face. But I didn't call her out on it. I don't know why. Maybe I was afraid of what I'd find if I pushed. Maybe I was a coward. Maybe some part of me already knew the truth and was desperately trying to run from it. Okay, I said softly. Okay, let's just get through tomorrow. She kissed me then, a long, desperate kiss that felt more like an apology than affection. And when she pulled away, there were tears in her eyes. I love you, she whispered. I love you so much. You know that, right? I know, I said. I love you too. But even as I said it, something felt wrong. Something felt like it was ending. The rehearsal dinner was supposed to start at 6 o'clock Friday evening. By 5:30, everyone had arrived except Tyrone. My mother kept asking where he was. My little sister kept making jokes about the best man being fashionably late. Sarah's parents were checking their watches and whispering to each other with concerned looks on their faces. And Sarah looked like she was going to be sick. She barely touched her wine. She kept excusing herself to go to the bathroom. Every time someone asked her a question, she'd jump like she'd been electrocuted. Her mother noticed too. I saw Mrs. Chen pull her aside in the hallway and ask if everything was all right. I couldn't hear Sarah's response, but I saw her shake her head and wipe at her eyes. By 6:15, I called Tyrone again, straight to voicemail. I called his mother. She answered on the third ring. Hello? Mrs. Patterson, it's me. Have you heard from Tyrone? There was a long pause. Too long. Baby, Her voice cracked. I can't talk about this right now. My blood went cold. What do you mean you can't talk about it? Is he okay? Is he hurt? He's alive, she said, and I heard her start to cry. He's alive, but something happened, something bad, and he told me not to tell you. He made me promise. I don't care what he made you promise. Tell me what happened. I can't, she sobbed. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. He said he needs time. He said he can't face you right now. Can't face me? What the hell does that mean? We're brothers. There's nothing he can't tell me. I have to go, she whispered. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She hung up. I stood there in the restaurant hallway with the phone pressed to my ear, listening to the dial tone, and I felt my entire world starting to tilt sideways. Nothing made sense. Nothing added up. Tyrone was alive but couldn't face me. His mother was crying. Sarah was falling apart. And tomorrow I was supposed to get married, and none of this was okay. None of this was right. When I walked back into the private dining room, everyone stopped talking and looked at me. My mother stood up. Honey, what's wrong? I don't know, I said honestly. I really don't know. If you're still with me after all of that, if this story hit you the way it hit me, I need to know. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from. What city? What country? Let me know you're out there. Let me know I'm not alone in this pain. Comment below, right now. Where are you watching from? That night, Sarah and I barely spoke. We were supposed to spend the night apart according to tradition, but I couldn't leave her, not when she looked so broken. So we sat together on the couch in silence, the TV playing something neither of us was watching. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Tyrone. Finally, my hands were shaking as I opened it. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I was a bad friend, a terrible friend. And now I'm paying for it. I deserve everything that's coming. Don't try to find me. I can't see you. I can't look you in the eye. What I did, you'll never forgive me, and you shouldn't. Goodbye. I read it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Each time the words made less sense, or maybe they made too much sense. Maybe they were starting to form a picture I didn't want to see. What did you do? I typed back with trembling fingers. Tyrone, what the hell did you do? The message showed as delivered, then read. But no response came. I looked over at Sarah. She was curled up on the other end of the couch, staring at nothing, tears streaming silently down her face. Sarah, I said quietly, what did Tyrone do? She didn't answer. Sarah, look at me. She turned her head slowly, and the guilt in her eyes was so heavy, so complete, that I felt something inside me shatter. Tell me, I whispered. Tell me right now. I can't, she choked out. Not tonight. Please, not tonight. Did he do something to you? Did he hurt you? She let out a sound that was half laugh, half sob. No, God, no. He didn't. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? She covered her face with her hands and started crying harder, full body sobs that shook her shoulders. I'm sorry, she kept saying over and over. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to comfort her. But I couldn't move. I was frozen there on that couch, watching the woman I loved fall apart, knowing that whatever she was about to tell me would destroy everything. We can call off the wedding, I heard myself say. If something's wrong, we can postpone. We can figure this out. No, she said sharply, looking up with red, swollen eyes. No, the wedding happens tomorrow. It has to. Everything's ready. Everyone's here. We can't cancel now. I don't care about any of that. I care about you. I care about what's making you look like this. She reached out and grabbed my hand, squeezing so tight it almost hurt. Tomorrow, she whispered. After the wedding, I'll tell you everything after the wedding, I promise. Just, please, let me have tomorrow first. Let me have one perfect day before everything ends. Before everything ends. Those words echoed in my head for hours after she finally fell asleep. I sat up all night watching her sleep, watching the way her face twitched with nightmares, listening to her mumble apologies in her dreams. And I thought about Tyrone's message. I thought about his mother crying. I thought about all the pieces that didn't fit, all the secrets that were being kept from me. Tomorrow was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Instead, it felt like I was walking toward an execution. Morning came too fast and too slow all at once. Sarah woke up and kissed me like she was saying goodbye forever. Then she left to get ready at the hotel with her bridesmaids. I went home to put on my tuxedo and tried not to throw up. My groomsmen arrived around noon. Marcus, David, and James. They were all laughing, all excited, all completely unaware that everything was falling apart. They kept asking about Tyrone, kept making jokes about him missing the rehearsal. Betty shows up fashionably late to the ceremony too, James laughed. That's so Ty. I couldn't laugh with them. I couldn't pretend. I just kept checking my phone, hoping for another message, hoping for an explanation. Nothing came. My mother helped me with my bow tie. Her hands were gentle as she adjusted the silk, and when she looked up at me, her eyes were full of concern. Baby, are you sure you want to do this today? You don't look well. I'm fine, Mom. You're not fine. I've known you your whole life. I know when something's eating at you. I almost told her. I almost spilled everything. The messages, the silence, Sarah's tears, the way nothing made sense anymore. But what would I even say? What did I actually know for certain? Nothing. I knew nothing. Just that something was horribly, terribly wrong. I'm just nervous, I lied. Wedding jitters. She didn't believe me. I could see it in her face. But she kissed my cheek and told me she loved me and that she was proud of me. And I held on to those words like a lifeline because I had a feeling I was about to need them. The wedding was at 4 o'clock. By 3:30, I was standing in a side room at the venue, looking at myself in the mirror and barely recognizing the man staring back. I looked hollow, haunted, like I'd already lost everything. There was a knock at the door. Come in, I called. It was Sarah's father, Mr. Chen. He was a quiet man, gentle and kind, and he'd always treated me like a son. But today his face was serious, heavy. Can we talk? He asked. Of course. He closed the door behind him and stood there for a moment, choosing his words carefully. Sarah told me to give you something, he finally said. He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket. She said if you want to stop the wedding, she'll understand. She said to read this and decide. My hands were shaking as I took the envelope. My name was written on it in Sarah's handwriting. Whatever's in there, Mr. Chen said quietly, know that my daughter loves you. She's made mistakes. We all have. But she loves you more than anything in this world. And whatever you decide, I'll support you. He left before I could respond. I stared at that envelope for a long time. Part of me didn't want to open it. Part of me wanted to throw it away and walk down that aisle and pretend everything was fine. Marry Sarah, start our life together. Never know the truth. But I couldn't do that. I had to know. I tore it open. The letter inside was written in Sarah's handwriting, but it was shaky, messy, like she'd been crying while writing it. My love, I don't know how to tell you this. I've been trying to find the words for weeks, but there are no good words for what I've done. 2 months ago, I made the worst mistake of my life. I was drunk. I was scared about the wedding, about forever, about not being enough for you. And Tyrone was there, and he was drunk too. And we made a terrible, horrible mistake. It only happened once, one night, and the moment it was over, we both knew we destroyed everything. He's been drowning in guilt ever since. He can't face you. He tried to tell me to call off the wedding, but I couldn't. I couldn't lose you. I love you too much. But you deserve to know the truth. You deserve to make this choice with all the information. If you don't want to marry me anymore, I understand. I'll spend the rest of my life regretting what I did. But if you can find it in your heart to forgive me, I promise I will spend every day making it up to you. I will love you with everything I have. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Whatever you decide, I'll accept it. Sarah. The letter fell from my hands. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. The room was spinning, tilting, collapsing in on itself. Sarah and Tyrone. Sarah and Tyrone. The two people I loved most in this world. The two people I trusted with my life. They'd betrayed me. Together. They'd destroyed everything, and they'd kept it from me. For 2 months, they'd looked me in the eye and lied. I don't know how long I stood there. Time stopped meaning anything. All I felt was pain. Raw, burning pain that started in my chest and spread through every inch of my body until I thought I might actually die from it. There was another knock at the door. "It's time," someone called, one of the groomsmen. "Everyone's ready." I picked up the letter with numb hands, folded it, put it back in the envelope, put the envelope in my jacket pocket. Then I walked out of that room. The ceremony space was beautiful, white flowers everywhere, candles glowing softly. 200 people sitting in elegant chairs, all dressed in their finest, all waiting to watch me marry the woman of my dreams. Sarah was standing at the back of the room in her wedding dress, and she looked like an angel. White lace, diamonds in her hair, a bouquet of roses trembling in her hands. When she saw me, when our eyes met, her face crumbled. She knew I'd read the letter. She knew I knew. The music started, some classical piece that Sarah had picked out months ago. Everyone stood. Everyone turned to watch as she started walking down the aisle on her father's arm. Step, step, step. She was crying, tears streaming down her face, ruining her makeup, and she didn't even try to hide it. Step, step, step. I stood there at the altar and watched her come toward me. This woman I'd loved for 4 years. This woman who was carrying the weight of her betrayal in every step. When she reached the front, Mr. Chen placed her hand in mine. Her fingers were ice cold, shaking. She looked up at me with so much pain in her eyes, so much regret, so much desperate hope. "I'm sorry," she whispered, so quiet only I could hear. "I'm so sorry." The officiant started talking. Something about love and commitment in the sacred bond of marriage. I didn't hear any of it. I just kept staring at Sarah, at this woman who'd broken my heart, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. Then the doors at the back of the room burst open. Everyone turned. Tyrone was standing there. My best friend, my brother. He looked terrible, hollow-eyed, unshaven, clothes wrinkled like he'd been sleeping in them. But he was there. "Stop," he said. His voice was rough, broken. "Stop the wedding." Sarah let out a sob. People started murmuring, confusion rippling through the crowd. Tyrone walked down the aisle toward us, and I saw my mother stand up, saw her put her hand over her mouth in shock. "You can't marry her," Tyrone said, looking right at me. "Not without knowing the truth, not without knowing what we did." "I know," I said quietly. "She told me." His face crumpled. "I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. I've hated myself every single day since it happened. I tried to stay away. I tried to let you be happy. But I couldn't let you marry her without... Without what?" My voice was getting louder now, anger starting to break through the numbness. "Without humiliating me in front of everyone I know? Without making sure my pain was public?" "No!" That's not. I just wanted to give you a choice. A real choice. I had a choice. She gave me a letter. I read it. I know everything. Sarah was sobbing now, her whole body shaking. I'm sorry, she kept saying. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I pulled my hand away from hers, took a step back, looked at both of them. These two people who'd meant everything to me. How? I asked. My voice sounded strange, distant, like it was coming from someone else. How could you do this to me? It just happened, Tyrone whispered. We were drunk and stupid and... Don't you dare blame the alcohol. You made a choice, both of you. You chose to betray me. You chose to destroy everything. Sarah reached for me. Please, I love you. This doesn't change how much I love you. I laughed. It was a horrible sound, bitter and broken. You love me? You love me and you slept with my best friend 2 months before our wedding? It was a mistake, the worst mistake of my life. But it doesn't change how I feel about you. It changes how I feel about you. The words came out cold, final. It changes everything. The room was dead silent. 200 people watching this tragedy unfold, watching me fall apart. I reached into my jacket and pulled out the letter, held it up. You want to know what's in here? I called out to the room. You want to know why my best man tried to disappear? Why my fiancé has been crying for days? Don't, Sarah begged. Please don't. But I was past caring, past protecting them, past protecting anyone. They slept together, I announced. My voice echoed off the walls. 2 months ago, while we were planning this wedding, while I was picking out rings and writing vows and dreaming about our future, they betrayed me. Together. Gasps, whispers. Someone shouted something I couldn't make out. My mother was crying. Sarah's mother looked like she might faint. Mr. Chen had his arm around his wife, his face twisted with grief. I'm sorry, Tyrone said again. He was crying too now, tears streaming down his face. I never meant for any of this to happen. You're my brother, you're my family, and I destroyed that. I know I did. I'll never forgive myself. You're right, I said. You won't. And neither will I. I turned to walk away, to leave this nightmare behind, to get out before I completely lost control. That's when I heard the gunshot. The sound was deafening in that enclosed space. People screamed. Bodies hit the floor, everyone diving for cover. I spun around. Tyrone was on the ground, blood spreading across his white shirt, his hands pressed to his chest, his eyes wide with shock, and standing over him, holding my father's old service pistol that I'd kept in my bedroom, was Sarah's brother Michael. You don't get to ruin my sister's life, Michael said. His voice was shaking. The gun was shaking in his hands. You don't get to destroy her and walk away. Michael, no, Sarah screamed. She dropped to her knees beside Tyrone. Oh God, someone call an ambulance. Everything after that was chaos. People running, screaming, crying. My mother on the phone with 911. Marcus and James tackling Michael, wrestling the gun away from him. David pressing his jacket to Tyrone's chest, trying to stop the bleeding. I just stood there, frozen, watching my best friend bleed out on the floor in front of the altar where I was supposed to get married. Watching everything end. Tyrone survived. The bullet missed his heart by 2 inches. 2 inches between life and death, between tragedy and absolute catastrophe. Michael was arrested, charged with attempted murder. He'd apparently been drinking heavily, overwhelmed by watching his sister fall apart, and he'd snapped when Tyrone walked in. He'd grabbed the gun from my bedroom while everyone was getting ready, intending to scare him off, to protect Sarah. Instead, he nearly killed someone. Sarah never forgave herself. Neither did Tyrone. I know this because they both tried to contact me after. Letters, messages, calls I never answered. I heard through mutual friends that Sarah moved across the country, that she couldn't stay in a place where everyone knew what she'd done. Tyrone apparently went to therapy, tried to put the pieces of his life back together. I don't know if they succeeded. I never spoke to either of them again. My mother asked me once if I would ever forgive them, if time might heal those wounds. I told her the truth. I didn't know. Maybe someday. Maybe never. Some betrayals are too deep. Some pain is too raw. The wedding ended with a gunshot, and my life as I knew it ended with it. But I survived. I'm still here, still breathing, still trying to figure out how to trust again, how to love again, how to let people close without waiting for them to destroy me. Some days are harder than others. Some days I hate them both with a fire that burns through everything. Some days I miss them so much I can barely breathe. But I keep going, because that's what you do. You survive, you heal, you rebuild, and you never ever forget what betrayal feels like.